Now look, I know I'm late on this, and I would have been even later if Valve knew how to release a game on time, but they removed Dust 2 from CSGO competitive, like, the active duty queue, which I just don't understand why. It's such a landmark for CSGO as a whole. When you think of Counter-Strike, you probably think of Dust 2. I don't know if they were trying to get rid of some maps just to make it a little bit less clustered when you go into that main menu, but also, like, get rid of agency. One, who plays the hostage maps? And two, if you do play the hostage maps, the only map that you want to play is Office. And you know, now that it's out of active duty, it may end up being a map like Dust, which just completely gets forgotten about. And Dust is literally that meme of, if Dust 1 is so good, where's Dust 2? Now that it's gone, I'm starting to wonder if people will start thinking about CSGO differently. If when they do think of CSGO, if they will be thinking of Dust 2, or if they'll be thinking instead of Inferno or Mirage, or whatever else it could be. But while we honor the loss of Dust 2, yes, I know you can still play it, it's just not in the active duty competitive queue, which is all anyone really plays. I wanted to have a look back at some of the other maps that have been knocked out of active duty, because some of these are actually, like, baller. Some of these I have great memories on and great times on, and I think if you played CSGO from, like, 2016, 17 onwards, you probably will as well. Let's have a look at the graveyard of CSGO maps. And let's start with the point of this video. Dust. Oh, sucked in, boys. We're talking about number one. Now, I came on to CSGO too late, probably like 2015, 2016, so I didn't really get much of a chance to play Dust as a competitive map. From what I've seen of it, it does seem like a great map. It seems like a lot of the things they did on this map ended up becoming staples of other maps, but they just got a little bit more fleshed out on things like that. And some of them are very obvious, especially like Dust 2, where you have that ramp on long. It kind of feels the same as where T would spawn on Dust. But I feel like once it got taken out of active duty, it ended up becoming more of a deathmatch match, which I actually think suits Dust a lot better. It does seem like it can work a lot more as a chaotic kind of map, rather than something where you have to be a lot more strategic about what you're doing. Now again, I haven't played this map, but to me personally, I feel like it's kind of a little bit CT-sided. CT spawns right next to B, so that's super easy for anyone to be able to just get a hold on immediately into the game, stopping Ts from being able to just beeline to it. Get it? Beeline. But on this map, T does get a pretty good view of A once the bomb has been planted, so if you're going for the defuse. Kind of similar to how Nuke has it set up, where you've got that little alleyway right to the corner. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's been so long. You've got that little, like, tin room that you can sit in, and you can just sort of watch A from there. Dust is something similar to that, which does make it easier once you've gotten A, but also it's the same. I feel like any spot that you're kind of holding that is easy to hold for T also just makes it easy for CT to have it at the start. Okay, fine, we'll do Dust 2. It's one of, if not the best map in CSGO. Dust 2 seems like such a balanced map. You played it so much back in the day. It would used to be like a 45-second wait time to get onto Dust 2. It was the best. The only thing that shits me about Dust 2 is that they got rid of suicide, because there was nothing better than at the start of a game when it started getting a little bit toxic and both teams bought a dak and just sitting there watching through mid doors trying to fucking get any CT that ran out, while also doing the same thing as CT, trying to just shoot directly into T spawn. That was the shit. I loved that. Those were the days, and then they fucking got rid of it. They also have a cool thing on this map, which is the soccer ball that spawns at T side, where it's even got the CSGO logo on it. And something I didn't think about until doing this video was how they basically managed to make the entries to A side and B side the same. On A, you have that look down long that takes you directly through to ramps, and that kind of mirrors in B, where you've also got that look down through tunnels. Short is also right there and is able to take over pretty quickly if they rush you. That's the exact same thing where you've got mid coming onto B side. This honestly felt like the most balanced map out of any of them. On A, you had a really good vantage going down long, but also that can get countered by ramp being there. And also on B, you were able to look through window to be able to make sure that no one's coming up through mid, but if you weren't paying attention, you would get absolutely destroyed through tunnels. It seems like it was the most fair and balanced map, and it honestly really sucks that it's gone. Why? What are you replacing it with? Anubis? Aztec? What are you doing? Keep it in. Cobblestone was one of those maps where it was really unique how it was able to have so much debris kind of just sitting around each site so that you could contend it as either CT or T pretty well. I learned from doing this video that apparently the porta potties that you have for the I think it's only T side that has it, but the porta potties that you have there, if you go into it, it actually changes the icon to being occupied. That's a little thing that I never knew about, and if I did, I 100% would have exploited the shit out of it. There was nothing more fun than sitting in the porta potties and just sitting there waiting for someone to open the door. To me though, it did seem like this map was super CT sided just because of where they spawned and how easily they're able to get vantage points on T. CT spawned on A in this map, which made it super easy to defend because you could not rush that. There is no way to get there faster than the team that literally lives there. And same with B, they spawned a lot closer to B than what the terrorist side did, but there was enough stuff on B to make it feel a bit even. There was so much cover coming from T side that you could run around and you would be able to be covered enough to not just get one tapped all the time. Zoo was a fun map because you rarely got it, and it was such a novelty when you did. I personally just love the feel of this map because it did feel so different to any other CSGO map that I had played at that point. I liked that it had like sounds of lions there when you were going closer to the enclosure, which when you were just trying to sound whore for footsteps or anything like that, it would scare the shit out of me so many times. Something I also didn't know before starting this video was that you can actually see the Golden Gate Bridge and San Francisco on this map, which I didn't spend a lot of time looking at the scenery, which is weird because I normally do, and my name's very close to scenery now that I think about it. But it's cool that they added in that little feature to actually ground where you are, because most of the time you don't know where you are, except for when you play Luna or when you play Italy. Even in Luna, it's a miscarry, actually, because you can go out to one of the corners and you see you're in Hollywood. I didn't even think about that. That's some Truman Show shit. On this map, I never noticed a team bias. It always felt like it was kind of fair, and I don't know if that came down to the map design or the fact that you just never played it enough to really know how to play it properly. Every time you got into the map, it always just kind of felt like you were running to wherever you thought was enough cover and where you thought that they might be coming out of, but you were never really sure. On B side, there's a catwalk at the top, which made it a bit harder to defend because you could just go up the stairs as terrorists and just shoot down at CT to be able to plan. But then also on A side, it was open, but also there was enough, like there was cars there were rocks there on the actual site, which did make it harder to storm in that way because there was a lot more cover. Whereas B was more open in that sense, but you had to be watching not only from the bottom, but also the top. Good map, I had a lot of fun. I wish that one would come back. That was cool. I don't know what it is about Train, but for some reason, this map had the most amount of hackers that I've ever encountered. It would literally be Dust 2 and Train is the only times that I would get hackers in this game. One thing that I think did a really good job for trying to even out Train was that you were able to link between B and A sites so easily by just having that ladder room in there, which immediately led you through to A site. Having something like that where you can divert so quickly between B and A, it evened out that short section. I don't know if that's the call out for it, but that section underneath Heaven where you could walk between B and A as CT, it also evened it out for terrorists by having ladder room because it was probably about the same amount of distance between. This map was an AWPer's dream. You had Heaven on A site, which would be able to look down into Garage where they were all coming out of. You just had that plain vantage of the entire, basically the entire railroad. And then you also had B where you could sit anywhere on top of catwalk and just look down into the entire site, basically having the same view that you had on A. It was just perfect to be able to be using an AWP on that map. And for the amount of sight you'd have as an AWPer going down, they also managed to even that out by having so much cover on both of the sites. To me, this map feels pretty even, but if I had to give it some kind of leeway, I guess it would be T-sided, but at a stretch. One of my favorite things to do on this map was literally just climb into Heaven, wait for the either plant or the defuse, and they just slowly creep out up to the window and just shoot down right above them, because for whatever reason, everyone put it right on top of the train. Good map. I forgot about that map. I miss it a lot. I wanted to come back. Cache, or Cache if you don't know how to read. By far, I think I have had the most fun on this map. I actually didn't know that this and train were gone until reading this today. God, that really sucks. One of my favorite CSGO mini games is in cash to just sit at squeaky door and just constantly just spam E and just open and close the fucking thing. I don't know why. If you can't tell, I'm in silver. If they don't have anyone catwalk, then they won't really push you either. It's just so stupid. It's one of those things where it's just so stupid, but it's so much fun. And if your teammates are just being pieces of shit, it's always fun to just block the guy that is screaming to get boosted up onto cubby. There is nothing more fun than being like, yeah, man, I'll boost you, and then just standing there. I feel like this is another even match, but I guess if I had to stretch, it would probably be CT-sided. And it's CT-sided just for A-side alone. On A-side, you have Highway, which is just basically a death trap if you try and run that. You can get a good shot on Warehouse from sitting at truck, so if they 3-stacked that site and just were watching Highway, Warehouse, and Squeaky, you had no way of getting in. You were absolutely locked out of A-side if they did that. Whereas on B, it's a little more fair to you because you do have that outside area on B where you can throw a whole heap of utility in through the window. And I mean, if you're doing that properly and you're throwing all your flashes out, you're going to be able to come through vents and shake them up enough that they're not going to see what's coming. And you can get a really good rush on that way. I'm talking about this like I'm really good at CS. I am not, but hey, it seems like a good strategy in theory. Communism works in theory. Doing this video and looking at all of this again, it makes me really want to play CSGO again. And I still don't understand, especially looking after all of these maps, why Dust 2 or Cache or Train or even at an extent Cobblestone would be replaced by a map like Anubis or Aztec. Aztec's alright, but you've got Cobblestone. Cobblestone is Aztec, but better. I don't know why they would get rid of that. Dust 2 was the staple of CSGO back when I started, and I feel like for a lot of people, Dust 2 probably is just the first thing that you think of when you think of CSGO, and it will be the staple for so many people. It probably will keep being for a while. I don't know if it's the nostalgia of it, or if you just felt comfortable playing that map because you just used to get into so many games of it that you just got so used to how it plays. Maybe Mirage will end up taking over. Maybe it'll be Inferno. Maybe it will be Anubis. Who knows? But if you do play CSGO and you can think of the next map that's going to take over from Dust 2, or if you think that Dust 2 isn't as good as I'm making it out to be, let me know in the comments. I genuinely want to know. If you want to see more commentary videos like this, then subscribe. I do them. I'm on some weird rotation at the moment, which I'm going to refine maybe eventually. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know if you did. I don't have an outro still.